What's up everyone? Welcome to Ashley Talks Movies. So for this video, I'm actually going to talk about the movies that I watched online from the Sundance Film Festival last week. Now, I didn't get to watch everything that I wanted to watch just because I was short on time, but I did manage to watch 4 movies as well as a new series from Cooper Rife. Now, before I jump into the reviews, do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos I post here on the channel. Now, before I talk about the movies that I did watch, I want to talk about a movie that I didn't get to watch that I really wanted to watch, but I was unable to because, well, people ruin things. So the movie was called Selena y Los Dinos. It's a new documentary about the iconic singer Selena and about her family band and their rise to fame. And this was a documentary, again, that I was really looking forward to seeing because I'm a huge Selena fan. And also this documentary featured never before seen footage from her family's archives. Before I was able to watch it, Sundance pulled the movie from the streaming platform, from the online platform, because people were recording clips from the documentary and posting them online. So it was a whole, copyright infringement issue. I understand, I get that. But yeah, I was unable to watch it because people ruin things. So, that made me really upset because this was a movie I was looking forward to seeing, bought a ticket and everything, had everything planned out, and then was unable to through no fault of my own. Now, this documentary wasn't the only movie that got pulled from the online platform. There was another movie that also had people recording clips from it and then posting it online. For the last few years, I have been able to attend the Sundance Film Festival virtually because they have offered this online option. And I don't remember there being an issue like this the last few years that I've done this. I don't remember ever hearing about a movie getting pulled from the online platform because people were recording clips and posting it online or any copyright infringement whatsoever. So now it makes me wonder if Sundance is having, the organizers of Sundance are having conversations about whether or not they should continue to offer the online option, because it was one that they introduced during the pandemic because obviously, for reasons people weren't able to attend things in person. And so they had this online option and then they just kept it. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Hopefully Sundance sees this as sort of like a one-off, or maybe they change the way that they do the online platform so that to prevent copyright infringement and things like that. But who knows? So we'll see. Hopefully next year I'll be able to once again attend the Sundance Film Festival virtually and watch some really great movies and then talk about them on this channel. All right, so now let's talk about the movies that I did see. And first up was Predators. Now this is a documentary that takes a look at the show To Catch a Predator, which aired in the mid-2000s, and it became a huge hit. The show was hosted by journalist Chris Hansen, who would confront men who show up thinking that they were meeting a minor, but really they were actually showing up to a sting operation. I liked this documentary, but I also found it to be a bit uneven. To me, it seemed like the filmmaker wasn't quite sure where to go with this and exactly what message or messages were trying to be, achieved here. Now, this documentary does take a critical look at the show in some ways, but it also doesn't excuse the behavior. It does point out that these are, this criminal activity, that, these men are, predators, and they were seeking, sex with minors. So the movie doesn't shy away from that at all. But again, it just felt like it was unclear in what it was trying to say. I did appreciate that it did focus on the copycats that spawned from the show. These people who are sort of like vigilantes who are trying to catch predators in their own way. And the documentary does offer this contrast between the show To Catch a Predator and its methods and these copycats, which have very different methods. And so you do get an idea that, there is some care taken in the way that show was approached compared to, these copycats who seem to just do it for, attention, to make money rather than to actually, change things. Up next is a movie titled Ricky. It's a debut feature from director Rashad Frett. And the movie stars Stephan James as Ricky. This is a 30-year-old man who is recently released from prison after being convicted of attempted murder when he was a teenager, and he was given a 15-year sentence. So Ricky is basically someone who has spent half of his life in prison, and he's trying to re-enter society, but he's dealing with a lot of struggles and challenges on readjusting to life. He has missed certain milestones So, he's socially awkward. He's emotionally immature. This movie's really good, had some really good performances from Stephan James, who plays the lead character of Ricky, as well as Cheryl Lee Ralph, who plays his parole officer, who is determined to ensure that Ricky doesn't break parole and end up back in prison. And this movie also tackles some really interesting issues, especially when it takes a look at people who enter this system that is basically a cycle, and a system that seems to be set up to cause them to fail. Right? And, the challenges of navigating that system, even when you have the best intentions, and yet you're still, not well equipped to manage it. Up next is Sorry Baby, which was written and directed by Eva Victor, who also stars in the movie as a character named Agnes, who is a professor that was sexually assaulted by her professor when she was a student. The movie jumps between the past and present to show the before and after and how the assault impacted Agnes's life, as well as those around her, including her friend, played by Naomi Ackie. Victor uses a lot of humor in a very effective way to tell this story, and it's a very sad story. And I was actually surprised not only by how much humor was in the movie, but how well the humor worked given the very difficult subject matter. I thought it was a very well-made film, especially because this is Victor's first feature film. I think she did a really great job, not only with the script, but also with the directing, as well as the acting. Another Sundance movie that I watched that I actually enjoyed was a movie called Omaha. Now, this is a movie that stars John Magaro as a father who takes his 2 young children on a road trip from Utah to Nebraska. And it had some really great performances, not only from Magaro, but also the children. The child actors in this movie, I think did a really great job. These characters felt very human and real. There's some really beautiful cinematography that captures the landscapes of the places that they travel to as they make their way to Nebraska. This also was a story that was very well told, very tender, and it also had a reveal that I wasn't expecting, and the movie slowly builds up to it. And the reveal actually surprised me because it was based on something that was actually happening in that part of the country at that time. And I had no clue. I didn't know anything about this particular thing that was happening. And it added this really sort of gut-wrenching punch to the story once all this is revealed. The last thing I want to talk about wasn't actually a movie. It was a series called Hal and Harper from Cooper Rife. And he's no stranger to Sundance. He actually had a movie come out a few years ago called Cha Cha Real Smooth, which starred Dakota Johnson. I actually really liked that movie, and I've been excited to see more of his work. With Hal and Harper, he's tackling family issues. So it's about 2 siblings who are dealing with family trauma when their father, played by Mark Ruffalo, decides to sell their childhood home. Now, I found this series to be very compelling at times, but also very uneven. And the parts I think that worked really well were that, these characters felt very human. It was a very tender story. Again, it's looking at trauma, generational trauma. It's also looking at codependency. Had some really great performances, especially from Lily Reinhart, who plays Harper. And this character is a bit of a mess. And she's dealing with a lot. She's also the sort of the backbone of her family. But she also has her own issues that she's dealing with. And I thought Lily Reinhart did a really great job with this character. There were parts of the series that felt very unfocused. It starts to meander a little bit. There were some episodes, it was 8 episodes. There's some episodes that felt like filler. But also, I think part of that was I had to binge this entire series. I only had 12 hours to watch this. That was just a rule that Sundance had. And I honestly wish I had more time to watch this series and that I didn't have to binge it, because I think it would have worked better as a series where I could have watched one episode, maybe had a few days or a week to kind of process everything that I was seeing, and then, watch another episode, because there's a lot of heavy subject matter in this series. There's a lot of humor to it as well. But yeah, it's dealing with a lot of heavy material. And I think, having that time to kind of process a lot of what I was watching would have helped. Yeah, I don't know what the fate of this series is. I hope that a streamer picks it up. I think it would do really well on, like Apple TV Plus or even maybe Hulu. I think it's a very interesting series. I liked it a lot. I didn't love it, but I liked it a lot. And I think there's an audience out there for it. And it was very well made. And I like I said, I enjoyed it. I just wish I had more time to enjoy it instead of having to try to binge it all in a weekend while I was also trying to watch all these other Sundance movies. So that concludes my Sundance reviews. Did you get a chance to watch any Sundance movies online, or maybe you attended the festival? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe and stick around for more videos like this.